And a lot of new faces in the room. My name is Amy Hadley. I'm the technical director for the Fringe. Chris Flaherty is my assistant technical director, and our job for you guys basically kind of lumped down into one sentence is to make your technical experience here and the technical part of your shows run as smoothly as we possibly can. In saying that, the more technically difficult you make your shows, the more technical problems you will have. That is just bottom line. I will tell you that straight out. If you are bringing a lot of technical elements into these theaters, expect a lot of time spent in your tech rehearsals dealing with those problems. Expect possible problems during your performances. It's just the way of live theater. It's just the way of life. We will try to make it go as smoothly as possible, but I need you guys to understand that. Okay? All of you should have seen a copy of the tech form that I sent out to you guys, and thank you very much for getting these tech forms back to me. What I'm going to talk about today is a lot of the stuff on this tech form so I can clear up some questions that I've been getting from you, from emails, not necessarily understanding what I mean, because as I said in the first paragraph, what is obvious to me might not be obvious to you and vice versa. So, as I'm going through this, the very first thing on the list is the prohibited items, and I want to be very clear about this with you guys. In no venue can we allow foggers or hazers. It is an issue with the fire alarm systems in both buildings. To operate foggers and hazers, the fire alarms would need to be shut down, and that is a safety factor for when I have 4,000 people running around a building coming to see your shows, and so that is not an option. If your show is something that needs atmospherics badly and your show cannot exist without it, talk to me about it. We'll try to see if we can find a solution that will work for all of us. And this goes across the board. If there's something that you need, John Ryan, I'm going to use him as an example right now. Last year he did My Pal Bet, which was a show about Betty Davis, and Betty Davis has to smoke. You can't have a show about Betty Davis without her smoking a cigarette. And so we had to find a solution for him of how he could have a theatrical cigarette on stage without actually smoking. So I will work with you guys as much as I can to make your show as close to the vision as you're seeing, but staying within the regulations and the rules of the buildings that we're existing in now. So no foggers, no hazers, no bubble machines, please. That causes a danger of just the residue building up on the stage, causing stickiness, causing slip hazards, and so no bubble machines, please. Smoking of any cigarettes, cigars, pipes, what have you. This is now deemed by the state of Florida as a workplace, and so no smoking inside the building. Live flame, no candles, no lighters, anything like that that is a live flame open on stage. If you need to use a candle for any of your performances or anything like that, please talk to me. I can put you in contact with, Roscoe, who makes flicker candles, stuff like that to get around those things if you need that intimate candle moment for part of your show. The section of caustic, nauseous, volatile, or corrosive substances in the theater. Let me be clear. This, I'm basically meaning the same reason that we cannot use fog or haze is that most of these systems in here are particle-based, so I can't allow any spray paint, people spray painting on stage or anything like that, which will affect your audience and people will not be able to breathe. Please do not bring any chemicals on stage that could possibly harm people, audience members, harm the floor, anything like that, any corrosive chemicals. Just covering my bases. Materials are actions that may ruin the stage finish. This would be, I've used the examples of blood or paint. Now that doesn't mean you cannot use these two items in your shows, but I need to know about it because there are steps that we need to take to make sure that it doesn't damage the stage floor in any way or get on any of the seating, any of the elements of the theater. If you have a show that you need to use blood in, please let me know. I have recipes that I would like you to use. That have been approved by the production staff here at the theaters, and we also need to talk about the possibility of tarping the floor and covering any area that the blood may be hitting. Paint goes the same way. If you're using paint in any of your shows, we need to cover any area that it may affect. Weapons. If you have shows that someone needs to get shot, or something like that. I cannot allow any live fire on stage as far as weapons going off, blanks, what have you. It has a tendency to still be dangerous, and so my solution for that is if you have a gun in your show, please think about possibly using a sound effect and timing it out with your tech that the gun goes off, but it's a sound effect that makes the gun shot. We just cannot have any live weapons being fired on the stages. Pyrotechnics, just no. Across the board, just no. Attaching to floors, walls, and seats with tape. If you come in and you need to reserve seats or anything like that for guests or people that you have coming in and that you've comped, please do not tape anything to the seats. If you need sections of seating roped off, and I'll use this theater as an example. This is a 300 plus theater. And sometimes for shows that know they're not going to sell out the entire side sections and just want to use the center, I can provide rope that will block off these sections nicely and safely without damaging any of the surfaces. So let your venue tech know, let me know that you would like that to be done for your shows, that if you do not want people to sit in the sides. So most of the shows don't use the very far sides. They'll allow people to still sit in these sections, but the, I'm looking at your butt the whole time you're doing a performance and everything, seats they usually like to have blocked off. And so that is a choice open to you in each of the venues. So just let me know if that's the case. For reserve signs, usually it's best to get a nice long piece of paper so you can fold it over the top of the seat and leave it there, just don't tape. This does not mean that you cannot use spike tape on the floor. I will be providing each one of our venue techs with a supply of gaff tape, spike tape in multiple colors, so that when you guys come in for your tech rehearsal, you can spike your scenery, and that will help speed up, I suggest it strongly, it'll help speed up your load-in times extremely, that during your tech rehearsal you know exactly where these things have to be loaded back in the next time you come into this venue. So that will be made available to the venue techs. You don't have to bring your own. Gaff tape will be made available. We just, it is an expensive item, and so we just can't go crazy with it, but it will be made available for your shows if there's anything needing to be gaffed down. Fire code. Fire code, very, very important. At no time can bombs like this, any entrances like that, be completely blocked. The rule of thumb is 36 inches, 3 feet. In your storage areas, 3 feet. There has to be some kind of pass-through, especially when you're dealing with fire exits. Please, when you're storing your stuff and everything and putting things away for the end of the day, try not to block these areas. Try not to block any of our fire extinguishers, any of our pull stations for fire alarm, anything that could cause a problem later on for just the regular operation of the building. I've already had some emails from you guys about equipment rental as far as, well, not equipment rental, but props and scenery rental. In the past, the Orlando Shakespeare Theater has allowed people to borrow or rent props, scenery. I have been told that that still can be the case, but we need to allow them to get through with their season. Right now they're setting up for McBee, and everybody is running around like crazy trying to get this show built and ready to come on this stage. And so I cannot bother them with questions about that now. But as soon as the show is open, I will be able to give you an email address to the scenic artist and the props master here to see if they can help you out with anything that you may need. Chairs, tables, things that you might need for your show.
And do not assume